Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Mean Green Nation podcast. Welcome to it. In Las Vegas, it's like 6 in the morning. Where you are, it's like 8, right? At least if you're listening Central Time. Um, you know, good times, folks. North Texas in the NIT championship game against a familiar foe. Uh, and that would be UAB. Now, I'm going to start somewhere. It's kind of hard to figure out where to start. Since we've been in Las Vegas, it's been sort of a never ending series of events. Go to this, go to that, do this, do that, without, much time to pause and assess and reflect, right? So, trying to find time to do a podcast while also enjoying some Las Vegas time. There's a lot of Mean Green fans here, a lot of listeners to the show, of the show. I appreciate y'all. Some of you, I met some of y'all here and there, and all that's been fun. So, the problem when you're saying, "Hey, thanks for listening to the show," is that you're not making any more shows. Um, so we've had a good time here. I know a good number of you are making your way out today, tomorrow for the game, and that's good. So again, stay tuned. We'll try to do at least another show, another episode after the game tomorrow, maybe before the game. I'm not sure. Well, we'll kind of figure it out. But at least wanted to get this one out. This little small one, little quick update. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, but it's not. I'm not gonna turn the camera on because there's really nothing to see. It's my hotel room here at the Orleans, which is it's a mid-tier hotel. Nothing great. It's fine. That was the preview of this hotel room. Like, it's fine, and it is fine. It's not the Vidara, which is very nice. I've heard. That's a little too rich for my blood. But this place is nice. Orleans Hotel is nice. It's kind of funny. Everybody's like, "Yeah, let's go here. We'll go here after the game." And then what ended up happening is like everybody stayed at like the Mardi Gras bar here at the Orleans Hotel. That's how they get you, man. That's how these hotels and casinos get you. This place, they're like, you walk in, it'd be great to see a movie. We got a movie theater here. Come see it. Oh, I'm all right. I gotta go get, find a barber. We got a barber shop here. Just stay here. You gotta go nowhere. Like, yeah, I don't want to eat, casino food. I'm gonna go find them fast. We got a TGF Fridays here. We got a Subway here. Don't leave. Stay here. Spend your money. They're very good at taking your money. Um, all that aside, folks, it was a great game. In like it had storylines, it had adventure, it had laughs, it had cries. Apparently Scott Drew was in the stands. I think if you were watching the ESPN broadcast, you knew that. I couldn't see him from my vantage across the way. At the Orleans Arena, I was sitting across from 103. So you saw all the Mean Green fans on the broadcast. I was like basically during. You can see like the back of my head there, right? Um, but I made a switch. Now maybe you think, hey, putting Kai Huntsberry on Chucky Hepburn, maybe intensely pressuring the ball. Um, all those are the way to stop this team. No, it was actually me leaving the media table at halftime and going to section 103 for a little bit in what I like to call the Middle Tennessee move. That's what I did in Murfreesboro, and then it led to a Mean Green comeback win, much in the same way, right? Second half shut them down second half. And so, congratulations to me. I know a couple of people said, yeah, I started watching the game from the kitchen, and that's how we won. Uh, so let's do all those things, right? Let's get all the karma right. I mean, that's what we have to do. Um, what actually happened, right? North Texas shut down Wisconsin in the second half. Held them without a point. They didn't score for the last 10 minutes of the game, and some of that was North Texas defense. But some of that was just Wisconsin missing. They had the same looks. They had that big dude Crawl, who did well. He was like spinning around doing his big man game, and he was getting buckets in that first half. And in the second half, not so much. I'm looking at the stats here. Yeah, first half 2 of 4, second half 3 of 5. Right, he had 6 points, but that was all early. And you know, I thought North Texas played him well. Sissoko, shout out to that dude. He had 7 points, 6 rebounds, but he played 28 minutes. Excuse me, and there were good minutes. He was basically just banging with Crawl. Shout out to Jaden Martinez because he had to step in there and do the big man stuff. Aaron Scott had to do big man stuff. He's so versatile. Tyler Perry played all 40. Kai Huntsberry played all 40. Huge effort from those dudes. Tyler Perry obviously had 16 points. Was the leader of the squad. So here's the thing, right? In the first half, Wisconsin came out and they were shooting. Greg wrote a nice little preview on it, and he was talking about how one of the weaknesses was their ability to shoot the ball. Right, that Wisconsin's not a big 3-point shooting team, so it was a little surprising that they came out and started hitting threes all up in everybody's face. Right, um, Chucky Hepburn in particular was on 5 of 8 for the game, but he was 5 of 5 at one point, including that one where he hit a three, and then I think what was it? He hit a three on a rebound, right, and a kick out, and then there was a steal. It was an Aaron Scott foul, and then he goes down and hits another three, right. So it turned a 5 point deficit into an 11 point deficit, and I think at one point Wisconsin was shooting 58% from the field. North Texas was shooting a very respectable 50% against a good defense. And to me, the story of this game is about maintaining. Yeah, and I know they made some tweaks. We'll put Huntsberry directly on him. Hepburn in the post game said, they didn't really do anything different on me. They just kind of stayed close to me. I was getting lost. They were losing me early in the game, but they were not losing me in the second half. I mean, it's good. If you're wondering, like, man, that dude was going off. We should guard him. They did that. He only took a 1-3 in the second half. He fired off 7 in the first. He missed his final 2 right before the end of the half. So, uh, great defense from Kai Huntsberry. He said in the ESPN post game, like he could do that because he trusts his teammates. There's a lot of good around there, right? Everybody that was on the court was playing some good defense. They're hustling, they're flying around, challenging shots, and that was the thing about that first half. That Chucky Hepburn hit 2 fall-away threes from the corner, but Aaron Scott was right up on him, right? I think the other one, Reuben Jones, is right up on him. That, I mean, outside of blocking the shot, it's hard, challenging a fadeaway 3-pointer in the corner. That North Texas did about as good as you can do. And so credit to Hepburn. It's a make or miss game, right? The offense always has the advantage. Like, I tell you what, like, if you can make a one-handed catch and shoot three from 90 feet away, you will be one, the game's greatest scorer, and also unstoppable, right? That's a very difficult thing to guard. So, like, the offense always has the advantage in theory, right? It's just about percentages, right? So, um, I think some of this game was just Wisconsin falling back to earth, and they were helped back down to earth by North Texas pressuring their, and defending them. Everybody says when you play North Texas, you kind of get hit. You always have your worst offensive game, right? 54 points for Wisconsin. And, I think the famous quote from, what's it, Fran Fraschilla, we saw him arrive, by the way. He was taking video. I saw him do the whole thing. He was saying, what you call it? Well, it looks like we're going to go over the 115 as the over-under, and then it did. Um, 54 points for Wisconsin. 13 points in the second half after scoring 41 in the first. This reminds me so much of that Middle Tennessee game in Murfreesboro in like January, like the first week of January, something like that. For North Texas part, scored 29 in the first half. Not terrible, very North Texas. 27 in the second half. Again, not terrible, very North Texas. Wisconsin, again, has a good defense. I thought Wisconsin did a good job on a lot of North Texas's actions. Like, Tyler Perry was hot early, but he only shot 3 of 9 from 3. North Texas overall, 7 of 23 from 3, 30%. Not bad. 3 of 10 in the second half. That wasn't as great. Wisconsin, for the game, 8 of 25 from 3. And again, 5 of those were in the first half. In the second half, 1 of 8. So a couple things about that. Like, North Texas chased them off. of the line. They didn't let them get easy looks, and I think they were short arming a couple of them after they were, kind of not feeling so great. That dude Esigian, I forget his first name, Connor or something. Right? Connor Esigian. Um, the one I remember hitting that in the second half. I was in the 103 side. North Texas is swinging the ball around. I mean, not Wisconsin swinging the ball around. North Texas making him rotate, but he was wide open. He was calling for it. They swung. He got it. Rhythm shot, and he hits the three. Later on, I think his next one, he airballs it. Right. Wisconsin is not a great 3-point shooting team. They have a couple dudes that can shoot it, but they're not super good. I was like, I think look for a while. North Texas was just letting that dude McKee just shoot it. He was 0 for 3, and there were some bad misses from wide open looks. Um, all that said, great stuff. I think you can tell how tight Wisconsin was in that final sequence, right? It was like 49 seconds to go after the foul and after they missed the two free throws. That they run their set. Um, Aaron Scott blocks the dude. It looked like Ruben Jones. And Aaron Scott, it's kind of hard. Again, it reminds me so much of Middle Tennessee because I think Aaron Scott had a huge block in that game. But a big block over there. Ball bounces out to half court. There's a scramble for it. And here's a part where being so aggressive and efforting on every play could maybe backfire sometimes because Ruben Jones is diving for the ball, but he misses it, so now he's out of position, right? So I think it was I can't remember the dude's name. Um, it wasn't Wall or something. It might have been Klesman, but he gets the ball and he's like, just trying to dribble and see the play. The clock's ticking down. In my mind, at that 5 second mark, I'm thinking, oh no, scramble drill. That's when teams get beat. North Texas is very good in the set defense, but you're always vulnerable when the ball starts bouncing around. Um, and if you look at it, I think Tyler Perry came to stop the ball, and then Tyler Perry saw that a shooter was to his left. It might have been a CG, and I can't remember. And so he kind of makes a guesstimate and starts going that way. And Klesman keeps dribbling the ball, and it looked to me like he had Hepburn, again, the dude that made 5 threes in the game, wide ass open over there on the side. And in my head movies, I thought, oh, he's gonna take a dribble attack, the paint, kick it out. The guy's gonna shoot it and hit a three with like 1 second left. Like I just saw that in my mind. But as he took the dribble, and it didn't look like he saw him either. Timeout card, right? The head coach. I was relieved. North Texas at that point they had a good possession before that. Like Sissoko went to put North Texas up. By the way, shout out to Sissoko. That was a great move by him. He had 7 points. That was his seventh point. His sixth and seventh point. And before that, Reuben Jones had another bucket and they got him up to 12. Funny thing about Reuben Jones up to that point is that he had a couple of like potential shots in the paint where he kind of flicked it off the rim. There was one where he was going up, looked like he was going right-handed. He switched to his left and flicked it up, and you can see McCaslin look at his bench. He's like, "What is he doing? Why is he doing that?" He was not super excited about his shot for him. He did something similar right before that. I think he missed it. North Texas got a stop, and then we came down, and I think that was a Sissoko bucket go up, or it might have been the Perry free throws. I forget exactly the sequence. Um, but the point in all that is, right, like, so North Texas comes down, they get a shot, Tyler Perry cooks his defender, step back, three-pointer. I thought that was going to go in. And that would have put North Texas up 5. It would have been like a minute left. You turn it into the end game, right, where it's like free throw time. That was almost in. It bounces out. Sissoko, huge rebound. And this is like North Texas didn't get anything on this possession. They kind of kicked it out, and Kai Huntsberry took a three, a little bit rushed at the end of the possession. But you ran down 2 shot clocks, right? At this point in time, you hurry up and end the game. You know what I mean? Like that's the great part about it. It wasn't just you don't give Wisconsin chances to score. Instead of Wisconsin having a couple more cracks at it, they had a block shot where they didn't get an attempt, and then they called timeout, and then they don't get another attempt. So they got 0 attempts in like the last It was at like 2 minutes or something like that. Uh, yeah, it was at like so the last so a missed pull up three by Klesmet at 152. Right, that one would have put them up one. Tyler Perry gets a rebound, and then he misses it at 121. So at 152, that was Wisconsin's last attempt at a shot. Tyler Perry shoots. Kyle Berry shoots at a minute. You already used 52 seconds of their time. Um, and then there was like free throws, right? Missed free throw by Wall. That's what it was. A couple missed free throws by Wall. And then Aaron Scott gets a rebound. Um, Here's the part at 21 seconds. North Texas has the ball there, and they're kind of running things, and they turn the ball over. That was enough. That was terrible. But North Texas was up. I would have loved to get a shot there, but as it was, that was like the only mistake North Texas made. Turnover there, and then block shot on Wall, and then they don't get the shot. So they had I was wrong. They did get at least one attempt. That was the two free throws by Wall, but from 152 to zero, right? Um, North Texas got a turnover, the one at the end. They block a shot, and um, you know they don't allow good attempts by the other team. Just great defense by our guys, good execution. It's not perfect. It never is in a game where there's a bunch of competitors and stuff like that. North Texas did have 18 points off with turnovers. Um, they committed 13. Wisconsin committed 12, and they only got 5 points off turnovers. North Texas out rebounded Wisconsin 36 to 32. I get big. They have a lot of size. That dude, Crawl, was a big guy. Shout out to Sissoko. He balled out. He had 6 rebounds himself, but Aaron Scott had 5. Tyler Perry had 5. Huntsberry had 4. Reuben Jones had 3. Um, and I want to say Martinez had a couple, right? He had 1. I was wrong. He had 1. He didn't have a couple. Matt Stone had 4. Lots of good stuff all the way around. North Texas shot 70% on free throws. We saw how huge those were. Wisconsin, not a great free throw shooting team, 50%. Like all your habits come and they present themselves in stressful situations. And that's what happens here. Wisconsin was not a great free throw shooting team. They're not a great 3-point shooting team. And then late in the game, that came to bear. They led, though, for 36 minutes of this game. North Texas led for 2 minutes. And that was basically the end of the game. They led for the most important ones. It only matters who's winning when the clock reaches 0. Uh, yeah, that's basically it. Points in the paint, Wisconsin had 26 for a while. They were leading that stat by a lot. It was like by 10. Um, Second chance points, North Texas 6, Wisconsin 5. And you kind of like North Texas was losing in all those areas early, and then came back. And this is a story just keeping on grinding, and Wisconsin's getting hot early, and then just falling back to earth. They ended up with 54 points, and if you look at the first half, they led 41-29, and they were feeling it. They were feeling good. They're like, hey, we're shooting with Hepburn, we're getting buckets inside with Crawl. We have that all day. In the second half, they still went to Crawl. They still went to the other big dude, Wall. He had 12 points, but there was no water from that well. They were not drawing what they wanted to. Wisconsin finished one of their last 16. They turned the ball over 4 times in the last 9 minutes, 5 turnovers in the last 13 minutes. Uh, North Texas had a scoring drought for a while, 207, but it didn't matter, right? 10-0 run, everybody knows about that one in the final 6 minutes. A 14-3 run over the last 11:50. I think once you start stretching out those runs, it's kind of silly. It's like, oh, North Texas went on a 56-54 run in the last 40 minutes. Whatever. I get you. You're looking for storylines, and things that kind of tell you what happened in the story. Like again, North Texas, I thought did a great job of figuring out the things to do where they're bleeding, and that was Hepburn, right? Hepburn was killing them early, and then he didn't do great later. Like he started out making his first 5, right? 5 of 5, and all of them were 3. And towards the end, I think he missed his last 3, or four. Uh, yeah, he missed a layup, and then he missed, he missed a couple jumpers, right? So I think North Texas did. They were just kind of solid throughout. They played North Texas game that the whole time. Um, yeah, all right. So I'm kind of just staring at stats now and just kind of reading things to you. So I'll stop that. Um, hey, championship game. This is grit, this is toughness, it's all that other stuff. I asked in the press conference, everybody's like, what does it mean to you? What does it mean about the conference? All that other stuff. This was before UAB won against Utah Valley. I got to tell you, man, I wasn't excited for UAB. Like, I wanted UAB to be there just intellectually, but then sitting there in the stands and watching them play, I found myself rooting for Utah Valley. And, so whatever. It's going to be a chance to get some revenge, a little revenge on these dudes. They beat North Texas in the semifinal, and you know what? Look, this is the first time this group right here, right? It's like the post Jalen Hamlin. I know there's some crossover, but this group gets to play in a championship game like this, right? They've been losing in semifinals for a little bit, right? Lost in the semifinal to what are they called? Louisiana Tech. They lost in I think the quarterfinal against Virginia. Okay, but then this one, they lost in the second round to Virginia last year in the NIT. This year, tough semifinal. You go down big to Wisconsin. I think they're down by 14 at one point. It looked tough, it looked bleak, and then they come back and win, right? So, championship game performance. Obviously, UAB has recent championship game performance. They got smacked up by FAU. They're hurting. They want to correct that. North Texas got smacked up by UAB. Uh, Very similar start. I mentioned earlier that your habits and stuff, they just come out and they reveal themselves in pressure situations. The negative side of North Texas habits are, hey, they start out slow. Right? They take a while to catch the rhythm of the game, and it's not that dudes don't care and all this other stuff. It's just what happens. Wisconsin came out, smacked them in the mouth a little bit, hitting a bunch of shots. They were hot. Um, I guess in North Texas defense, they're wearing white. They're the home team. And North Texas is going to wear white again on Thursday. But the crowd was 2/3 Wisconsin, right? So it was a road game, even though you're the home team. Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, so UAB came out 22-2 on North Texas in Frisco, and I know they've been motivated by that. They want a little revenge. They want some get back. They want to show. They want another crack at it. You can't relive that day. You can't give yourself another opportunity again that day. But I think in a lot of ways, it's worked out in everybody's favor. I mean, FAU is a great story in the Final Four, and North Texas, they felt like they could beat them, right? They felt like they could beat FAU. But I don't know. I don't know that North Texas would have made the Final Four, just because I don't know what kind of bracket they would have got. Like you just never know. I think FAU was fortunate to not have to play number one Purdue, right? They played FDU, and FDU, solid squad, hot at the time, but I think that was in their favor. But they beat Tennessee, and they beat Kansas State, two impressive wins. But North Texas losing to UAB in that round, and UAB getting smacked out by FAU allowed FAU to have the story to shine. And I was saying this before. I don't know that. Well, I don't. I do know. The NIT, final is not as great as a Sweet 16. 'Cause nobody cares as much. The media surrounding it, it's not as great. It just is what it is. What everybody knows that. Nobody dreams of playing the NIT final that has been born in the last 30, 40 years, right? You're like, man, I can't. Grew up watching the NIT final. Maybe that one dude that likes the NIT. That's it. Just him. Um, but here's the thing. Because FAU, and I say we all worked out in everybody's favor, right? Because FAU won the way they did, they're in the Final Four. It motivated North Texas. So we're gonna win the NIT. Grant McCaslin, even though he's been courted by Texas Tech heavily, Tyler Perry, You should have seen the look on his face post semifinal loss. He was motivated. Kai Huntsberry the same. Reuben Jones the same. Aaron Scott the same. Everybody that came out or just walking around there, they had a look on their face like, I hate this feeling. We're gonna go win. So that's what happened there. That motivated them through to whoop up on Alcorn State, a good team, to whoop up on Sam Houston State, a good team, to grind it out against Oklahoma State, a very good team, and then ultimately to win this one against Wisconsin, a tough Big Ten team. Um, Same for UAB. They got blown out by FAU. Jelly Walker felt like he didn't put his best foot forward. Last year in the final, he showed out, right? It was Jelly Walker show. And then against FAU, he kind of struggled. He showed out against us, right? That's when he went off. But he didn't do it, excuse me, against FAU. So he had a little motivation. That whole team had some motivation. They felt like they were the best team in Conference USA in terms of talent. I mean, they were picked to win the league. And, they felt like, hey, we didn't live up to where we could be, so, let's go out here and win. I think UAB had a little easier NIT tournament run than other squads. They Morehead State, pulled off an upset. So UAB got to play a team that's not as talented, but still tough. Again, full respect. Everybody at a certain point is a good team, but I said like there's different levels of talent. And they did beat a good Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. They kind of handled them. They do look like UAB. They got tested versus Utah Valley because Utah Valley is a tough team. But I think the toughest matchup they're going to face is the one on the final against the North Texas Mean Green team that's beat them twice. And now you'd be like, oh well, one was without Jelly Walker, yeah, and this one's going to be without Abu Usman, right? I think a difference in this one is that in the semifinal in Conference USA tournament, Abu Usman was struggling a little bit. He's been good all season. He's been great for North Texas all season, but I don't think he was in peak form at that point in time. Obviously, he's going through something with his family and he's helping him out. He's being with them right there, and everybody hopes that everything's okay in the end. It sucks that he's going through that and then he can't be with his teammates. Both things, right? But from a basketball perspective, which again is not as important as life, from a basketball perspective, Mulai Sissoko has been balling out. Right, he's been very good for North Texas. He had a double-double against Oklahoma State, and they had a big size advantage against North Texas. Right, they were like that was the thing about them. They have two bigs, and they were going to go to it. They maybe abandoned it a little bit early and kind of went small against North Texas, but Sissoko was great. In this one, the thing was, hey, Wisconsin has a couple bigs. They're not going to go away from it, right? They're going to give a lot of points. Kral's big. They're going to keep. It's their bread and butter, man. Sissoko played well, right? In 28 minutes, 7 points, 6 rebounds. Tough defense, right? Kral had 8 rebounds, 10 points. He was 5 and 9, but Sissoko was 3 or 4, 1 or 2 from the line. I thought that he had a couple steals too. I think is what it was. He played tough defense and didn't get on the stat sheet, right? He got big. He was in the way. He challenged shots, but not in a like I'm gonna fly out here try to block it, but just making it tough on you. I'm gonna bump you a little bit. I'm gonna make you battle for position. You have to think about me being here. You're not gonna be comfortable, and all that worked in North Texas' favor. And so he's been playing very well, right? He's the guy that we thought we were getting in the off season, and he's been doing that now. So that's the great part. I feel good about North Texas right now. Everybody's playing. Again, they're sort of peaking at the right time. Now's the time to be on it. And I mean, here's the other part, right? I had asked Tyler Perry in the podcast over the weekend, right? You can go check that out, MeanGreenNation.com. Hey, are you gonna get some time to go explore Vegas or see Vegas or anything like that? And he's like, I don't know, they're probably gonna take us to some stuff, but honestly, yeah, I don't really, Vegas is not my thing, right? I'm just gonna be, I just kind of want to hang out at the hotel. He likes going out and having a barbecue, right? Cookout. And then in the post game, Max said something similar. He was like, yeah, these guys are boring. Like he's joking when he says, but like they just want to hang out in their hotel room, and like I bet you they want to work on their game right now. Like their legs are shot, everybody's tired, but that's what they want to do. They don't really want to go, you know, stay out all night, and yeah, so I feel good about it. Um, they played 40 minutes. Tyler Perry, Kai Huntsberry, but UAB, they're gonna have to be doing a lot of work. But there's no games after this. You leave it all out there. UAB played an overtime game. Jelly Walker did not have a good game in that one, so I think he's poised for a big game come the final. But Ty Brewer had the game of his life. He had 30 points. I think it was a career high, 12 rebounds. Um, so I don't expect another performance like that from him. So we don't need. I mean, here's a basketball secret: don't give up two 30-point scores on the same squad at the same time, and you'll win a lot of games. Um, so anyway, that's it. That's it. I feel good about it. We're sat here talking for about a half hour. I think it's time for me to get some breakfast and go do some things. Um, Folks, thanks for listening to the Migry Nation podcast. We'll do another update. I think we got some posts coming, some recaps of the game. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to do all of that while also balancing some other things, and I got regular work to do. So, uh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna figure out what's going on and where we can do that. I think there's some people that we know that are coming up. Um, Come on, let's have a good time. If you can do it, and I was saying this to other people last night, like, yeah, yeah, it's gonna cost you money, but it's gonna be an experience. I think you want to be there, in the stands, having a good time. That's what you want from this program, right? You want the program to be in Final Fours and NITs and postseason tournaments, and I think this is a good, excuse me, a good sketch for how it's going to be or how you want the program to be, right? So, you got to fit it into your budget. Hey, you know what? March, I gotta have my travel cash. I need to build up some airline points or something. I don't know what. You know, configure configure your finances such that you are ready to travel to a destination, with a week's notice, maybe a couple days notice, maybe, you know what I mean? Um, Maybe get some rental car points. I don't know, whatever the case may be, because this is what we want normally. I was a little disappointed at Wisconsin, but and I recognize they're a national brand. Wisconsin had, a lot of people there, and we didn't. And I know there's a lot of North Texas people in and around Dallas Fort Worth. I know not everybody could make it out, um, but I think there are more people that could have made it out that that didn't for one reason or another. Like, I don't know, I'll kind of see. I'll go. They make the final. Um, I mean, like I said, the cool thing about Las Vegas, and then you change your mindset a little bit, right? Is I like to joke that I bought the tickets on March 14th. I booked the room, I booked the week. I saw it in their eyes that they were ready to win, and I was like, you know what? Me too. I'm gonna go all in. I'll buy the tickets, book the room. I'll be there in Vegas, right? I bought tickets to the final too, like the whole week. Um, and there's other people that after the game they're like, well, I guess I got to get tickets to the championship game now. And I'm like, yeah, you could have bought them. One, you could have bought a session pass, the full session. It would have been a little cheaper. But yeah, you always give those tickets away. You could always sell them on the secondary market, like if you want to hedge your bets a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think doing it all. I know some people are like, well, I guess now I got to extend my stay. But I mean, the worst case scenario I was thinking is that yeah, I spend a week in Las Vegas. I have I have friends here, could hang out with them. But I mean, again, Las Vegas is not the worst place to spend a week in the world. Um, no, again, that's all assuming that you can afford it and all the other good stuff. But that's all assumed. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to the show. Sorry about the cough; it just attacked me at the second. I don't have my normal setup here, and so hopefully you'll forgive me in this one. Thanks for listening to the show. Go Mingry.